Moravian friends? All right, so I'm going to let you know now. We are going to be doing something silly in this set of chapters because the next few chapters are really short. Nicole's going to read you a couple of chapters at one time, okay? So we're going to read chapter 31, 32, 33, and 34 all in this one section, okay? So we're going to read 4 chapters because it's only 4 pages worth, okay? So we just finished. They had just gotten sent to be clean. He was singing because he was so happy that he got to be a pest again, right? So now they're still floating. And one of the things that hasn't been talked about until now is they're birds. At some point they have to what? They have to land, right? They have to eventually stop. They have to sleep. They have to eat. They have to go pee. So I wonder where the birds are going to go. Let's see if it tells us. Chapter 31. How fast are we going all of a sudden, the ladybird said. I wonder why. I don't think the seagulls like this place any better than we do, James answered. I imagine they want to get out of it as soon as they can. They got a bad fright in that storm we've just been through. Faster and faster flew the seagulls, skimming across the sky at a tremendous pace, with the Peach trailing out behind them. Cloud after cloud went by on either side, all of them ghostly white in the moonlight, and several more times during the night the travelers caught glimpses of cloudmen moving around on the tops of these clouds, working their sinister magic on the world below. Once they passed a snow machine in operation, with the cloudmen turning the handle and a blizzard of snowflakes blowing out of the great funnel above. They saw the huge drums that were being used for making thunder, and the cloudmen beating them furiously with long hammers. They saw the frost factories and the wind producers and the places where cyclones and tornadoes were manufactured and sent spinning down towards Earth. And once, deep in the hollow of a large billowy cloud, they spotted something that could have only been a cloudman's city. There were caves everywhere running into the cloud, and at the entrances to the caves, the cloudmen's wives were clutching over little stoves with frying pans in their hands, frying snowballs for their husbands' suppers. And hundreds of cloudmen's children were frisking about all over the place and shrieking with laughter and sliding down the billows of the cloud on toboggans. An hour later, just before dawn, the travelers heard a soft whooshing noise above their heads, and they glanced up and saw an immense gray bat-like creature swooping down towards them out of the dark. It circled around and around the Peach, flapping its great wings slowly in the moonlight and staring at the travelers. Then it uttered a series of long, deep, melancholy cries and flew off again into the night. Oh, I do wish the morning would come, Miss Spider said, shivering all over. It won't be long now, James answered. Look, it's getting lighter over there already. They all sat in silence, watching the sun as it came up slowly over the rim of the horizon for a new day. So see, there's them going through the clouds, and there's that weird bat-like creature that just pops out of nowhere. I don't know what it's about. Chapter 32. And when full daylight came at last, they got to their feet and stretched their poor cramped bodies, and then the centipede, who always seemed to see things first, shouted, Look! There's land below! He's right, they cried, running to the edge of the Peach and peering over. Hooray, hooray! It looks like streets and houses. But how enormous it all is. A vast city, glistening in the early morning sunshine, lay spread out 3,000 feet below them. At that height, the cars were like little beetles crawling along the streets, and people walking on the pavements looked no larger than grains of tiny soot. But what tremendous tall buildings, exclaimed the ladybird. I've never seen anything like them before in England. What town do you think it is? This can't possibly be England, said the old green grasshopper. Then where is it? Asked Miss Spider. Do you know what those buildings are? Shouted James, jumping up and down with excitement. Those are skyscrapers. This must be America. And that, my friends, means we must have crossed the Atlantic Ocean overnight. You don't mean? They've cried. It's not possible. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Oh, I've always dreamed of going to America, cried the centipede. I had a friend once who... Be quiet, said the earthworm. Who cares about your friend? The thing we've got to ask now is how on earth are we going to get down? Ask James, said the ladybird. I don't think that should be so very difficult, James told them. All we'll have to do is cut loose a few seagulls. Not too many, mind you, but just enough so that the others can't quite keep us up in the air. Then down we shall go, slowly and gently, until we reach the ground. Centipede can bite through the strings for us one at a time. So look, there they are. There's the Peach, itty-bitty as it is, which it's not very itty-bitty. Just looks, and look, there's New York City. I think that's supposed to be the Statue of Liberty, and I think that's supposed to be the Empire State Building, though this could be too. I'm not entirely sure. Maura Nicole does not have very good knowledge of New York City skylines. Chapter 33. Far below them in the city of New York, something like pandemonium was breaking out. A great round ball, as big as a house, had been sighted, hovering high up in the sky over the very center of Manhattan, and the cry had gone up that it was an enormous bomb sent over by another country to blow the whole city to smithereens. Is that true? Air raid sirens began wailing in every direction, and all the radio and television programs were interrupted with announcements that the population must go down to their settlers immediately. 1 million people walking in the streets on their way to work looked up into the sky and saw the monster hovering above them and started running for the nearest subway entrance to take cover. Generals grabbed hold of telephones and shouted orders to everyone they could think of. The mayor of New York called up the president of the United States down in Washington, D.C. to ask him for help, and the president, who at that moment was having breakfast in his pajamas, quickly pushed away the half-finished plate of Sugar Crisps and started pressing buttons right away, and left to summon his admirals and generals. And all the way across the vast stretch of America, in all the 50 states from Alaska to Florida, from Pennsylvania to Hawaii, the alarm was sounded, and the word went out that the biggest thing in the history of the world was hovering over New York City, and that any moment it might hurt the people who live there. Now, is that true? Can the peach actually hurt anybody? No, it's just a peach. But, and we've talked about this in a couple of other books, when you don't know what something is, when you don't recognize it or you don't see it, is it hard sometimes to feel like you're safe? Do you feel scared when you don't know what something is, especially when something's much bigger than you? I know that sometimes when something's really new and different to me, I can feel a little nervous at the very beginning too. All right, chapter 34. Come on, Centipede, bite through the first string, Dreams ordered. The centipede took one of the silk strings between his teeth and bit through it. And once again, but not with an angry cloudman dangling from the end of the string this time, a single seagull came away from the rest of the flock and went flying off on its own. Bite another, James ordered. The centipede bit down through another string. Why are we sinking? We are sinking. No, we're not. Don't forget, the peach is a lot lighter now than when we started out, James told them. It lost an awful lot of juice when all the hailstones hit it in the night. Cut away 2 more seagulls, Centipede. Ah, that's better. Here we go. Now we really are sinking. Yes, this is perfect. Don't bite any more, Centipede, or we'll sink too fast. Gently does it. Slowly the great peach began losing height, and the buildings and streets down below began coming closer and closer. Do you think we'll get all our pictures in the papers when we get down? Miss Ladybird asked. My goodness, I've forgotten to polish my boots, the Centipede said. Everyone must help me to polish my boots before we arrive. Oh, for heaven's sake, said the earthworm. Can't you ever stop thinking about... But he never finished his sentence. For suddenly, whoosh! And they looked up and saw a huge 4-engine plane coming out of a nearby cloud to go whizzing past them not more than 20 feet over their heads. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane. See, you can see there's the peach, and there's the passenger plane, and there's, I think, the helicopter trying to figure out what exactly the peach is. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane coming into New York from Chicago, and as it went by, it sliced right through every single one of the silken strings, and immediately the seagulls all broke away. All the seagulls are gone. Remember, they said they were just going to do them one at a time? Now they went from having, like, almost 500 to having 0. What do you think is going to happen to the peach? Do you remember how long it took them to lift up? So it took a lot of energy to get them up. So the peach is pretty heavy. So now all the seagulls have been cut. And what's going to happen to the peach now? Uh-oh. And the enormous peach, having nothing to hold it up in the air any longer, went tumbling down towards the earth like a lump of lead. Help! Cried the centipede. Save us! Said Mrs. Spider. We are lost! Cried the ladybird. This is the end! Cried the old green grasshopper. James! Cried the earthworm. Do something! James! Quickly do something! I can't! Cried James. I'm sorry. Goodbye! Shut your eyes, everybody! It won't be long now! And that's where we're going to stop for the night. We'll see how it goes tomorrow night. All right, my friends, so you can see there's the peach, and it's coming down. And it's coming down super fast, so they're scared that if they hit, they're not going to be able to survive much longer. So let's see what happens. We still have 5 more chapters, I think, but only 5. Can you believe it? We only have 5 more chapters. So I want you guys to think. So you have a couple of choices next, because I'll keep reading you guys chapter books because it was the thing we always did at the end of the day, and we would have kept doing it every day until the end of school, so I'll just keep it up. You can pick. We can either go back and read Charlie and the Glass Elevator, or we can read Fantastic Mr. Fox. All right? Have a good night, my friends. Bye!